Well, hello everybody, Mr. Mack here, and we are on chapter 17 of Restart. Now, when we left Restart, we were in Shoshana Weber's perspective and point of view, and Shoshana, as we expected, is starting to like Chase. She's realizing that the schmuck, the bully, the mean, vile alpha rat is no longer there. That the Chase now, after his accident, is a good guy. He's kind and giving and funny and compassionate. And, no one in the world more surprised than Shoshana by this. When I say they, Shoshana and Chase go to the yogurt place where they kind of first met again after Chase's accident, where Shoshana dumped yogurt on his head. And they're sitting there going over the footage from Mr. Sloven, and who comes in to get an ice cream cake but Shoshana's mother. And she loses her mind to see her daughter sitting with the prime bully, the one who bullied Joel, her son, out of that town into a boarding school. So when they got home, Dad and Mom, were just livid, angry, just couldn't believe, And Shoshana was trying to explain, and she finally did kind of. She kind of got through Mom. She kind of got through Dad about Chase being different now. It isn't the same Chase. And not only that, but Joe is so unhappy at Welton. That's at the boarding school. Even though it's a music boarding school, music is Joel's thing, that maybe it's time for Joel to come home. There's nothing keeping him anymore from coming home. The bully's not there anymore, but even if he was, Joel's so unhappy. Shoshana even said, even if Chase was still the bully, it might be best for Joel to come home. Joel is so unhappy. So that's where we are leaving off. Well, I left out a very important part to the end of chapter 16. Dad says to her, because she says, Shoshana to Mom and Dad, just that, maybe Joel needs to come home. And Dad had asked, have you told your brother? Does your brother know about any of this? And of course we know Shoshana has kept that from Joel. And Dad asks her, what if you're wrong about this whole thing? And the very last line of chapter 16 is Shoshana texting her brother, simply saying, we've got to talk. My prediction was, obviously, she's going to tell him the whole story. So, chapter 17 is all about Joel. So let's see. The piano is out of tune. Actually, my whole life is out of tune, but the piano is worse. I couldn't stand Melton, but everything there was always in tune. It had to be. All the kids had perfect pitch. The instruments were maintained at the highest level. Even the wrought iron gate outside the facility building squeaked a perfect B flat. I have perfect pitch too, so I know. I'm proof that just being qualified to attend a musical conservatory doesn't mean you should go there. I love the piano, but not enough to care about it the way people at a school do, like Melton. I want to use it to make music, not mind meld with it. There. It's never enough to play an instrument. You have to live it, breathe it, taste it, compose for it, understand it inside and out. You even have to empathize with it, like it's another person. Honest, that's how the people at Melton are. I hated it. I hated living in a dormitory and sharing a bathroom with 11 other guys. I hated my roommate and his violin and his asthma and the whistling sound he made when he slept, D above high C, by the way. But what I hated the most about Melton was the reason I had to go there. To be fair, it wasn't Melton's fault that I was forced out of my own town by three morons. And of course, we know who that is: Chase, Aaron, Bear, right? The Alpha Rat, the Beta Rat, and the Omega Rat. Or that even though everyone knew those three were juvenile delinquents, I was the one who had to suffer. And now I'm supposed to believe that the leader of the three, the Alpha Rat, is a good guy because he fell on his head? I'm supposed to believe that? So, evidently, ladies and gentlemen, we have come into this chapter with Shoshana already filling in Joel. Joel already knows what's happening, what's been happening. So this is a time jump. We're days ahead. And so he says again, I'm going to read that again. And now I'm supposed to believe that the leader of the three, the Alpha Rat, is a good guy because he fell on his head? Fine. Whatever gets the job done. I'm home, and an out of tune piano is a small price to pay for it. I'm back where I belong. I'm happy. But be careful what you wish for. At Melton, I missed Mitzi so much it was almost a physical pain. That dog drives me crazy. I know she's glad to see me, but she won't leave me alone. I'm always covered in dog hair, which makes me sneeze. And when I kick her out of my room, she lies outside the door whining F-sharp. My parents are so guilty and conflicted about what happened that they're smothering me. They wait on me hand and foot like I'm helpless, and while it's great to be back with Shosh, she's giving me an uneasy feeling. For one thing, she has entirely too much to say about a certain Alpha Rat. So enough time has gone by that Joel is home. Joel's home, and he's back in his room. He's back at Hiawassee, and the parents are feeling guilty because they sent him to begin with, so they're treating him, giving him everything he wants, waiting on him hand and foot, driving him crazy. The dog, which he loves, Mitzi, is also driving him crazy. His sister, he senses something. There's an uneasiness there. And she's saying too much about Chase, the Alpha Rat. Chase thinks Brendan is going to break his neck shooting a YouTube video. Mr. Solway threw Jello at Chase for letting him win at arm wrestling. Chase kept the camera steady while Hugo interviewed the school bus driver, even when they went over the railroad tracks. She's talking entirely too much about Chase. I blow my stack. Chase says, and I mimic savagely, Chase has said enough for one lifetime. She's patient. My sister is understanding. That's another annoying thing. Why does everyone have to be so patient and understanding? One of the perks of living at home should be arguing with your family. Wait till you see him at school on Monday. You won't believe how different he is. I don't care how different he is, I say honestly. I don't plan to say anything to the guy. But you're going to have to deal with him sooner or later, she reasons. You're coming back to Video Club, right? Chase is part of that now. Well, good for him. Her expression turned sympathetic. I get it. You're nervous. Well, obviously I'm nervous. I haven't set foot in that school for months, and my memories from then are not good. There's something about being bullied that you could never explain to someone who hasn't had it happen to them. It's worse than the sum of the rotten things that are done to you. Even when no one is bothering you, you're still under attack because you're dreading the next strike. And you know it can come from anywhere at any time. And that's true. When somebody's bullied, even when it's a good day, even when the bully's not in school, they're absent, the person being bullied may have a sense of relief, but they also know that bully's coming back. There's still anxiety. You get so paranoid that with every single step, you're half expecting the floor to yawn open and swallow you whole. It got to the point where the only place I felt safe was at the piano. It got until the night the piano blew up in my face. And we remember that story, don't we? And there was no safe place to go anywhere. That was my all-time low. And I forgive Mom and Dad for deciding Melton was the answer. I forgive them. I'm a little better now, but only because Melton was so lousy that even coming back to that, or to this, is an improvement. When a bunch of jerks see you as a victim, that's on them. But when it goes on so long that it's how you see yourself, it's very hard to climb out of that hole. The hole seems deeper on Monday morning when Shosh and I get out of the car, and Hiawassee Middle School is right there, right in front of me. I knew bricks and concrete are incapable of evil intent, but I can't shake the feeling that the building itself is out to get me. Dr. Fitzwallace reached out to my parents last week. He offered to meet me this morning before homeroom, and I said no. I just print my class schedule at home. That's what I did. I think he wants to reassure me that he's got my back. Big deal. So what, he's got my back? He had my back before, and what good did it do? Short of a Secret Service bodyguard, there's no way to protect anyone 100%. There's just no way. Sooner or later, you're always going to end up in a lonely hallway or a deserted locker room. Shosh rounds on me. Are you ready for this? Are you ready, Joel? I'm not ready, but I nod. Then we're in, surrounded by all those kids. I forgot the thrum of a school this big. Chaotic buzz of sounds, too many to assign to a single note to, or even a whole chord. A handful of faces turn my way, registering surprise at my return, and I hear the occasional whispered, "It's him," or "Look, Joel's back," or, the guy whose piano exploded. I catch a couple of kind-hearted looks and even a hostile one from a big kid who must be a football player. Mostly, though, nobody sees me at all. Or worse, they never noticed I was gone. I think that makes me madder than anything else. I went through the worst part of my life. I was bullied so badly I had to leave town, and it never popped onto most people's radar screens. It's as if I don't even exist. That baloney from guidance counselors about how we're supposed to be a community? Yeah, right. This is how bullies like Chase Ambrose get away with what they do, because their victims are invisible. Speaking of bodyguards, Shosh thinks she's mine because she stays glued to my side. Add that to a list of humiliations that doesn't need padding. My sister is convinced she has to fight my battles for me. Don't you have to get to homeroom? I ask her, fighting to keep exasperation off my face and out of my voice. Oh, well, I figured I'd stay with you just for today. I haven't seen Mr. O'Toole in a while, and I interrupted her. Go away, Shosh. Go away. She looks worried. Are you sure? No, I reply honestly. But you can't hang off me forever. What happens when I have to go to the bathroom? Well, I figured I could just wait outside. Oh, I was kidding. Listen, Shosh, go away, I repeat. Classes are okay, I guess. No different than Melton. Math is math, regardless of whether or not you're learning it from a world-class French horn player. A few kids ask where I've been. Those who know have questions about what boarding school is like. Brendan Espinoza updates me on his YouTube career, and I congratulate him on Leaf Man, which is up to over 4,000 views. Awesome. Not exactly viral yet, but his biggest audience so far. He tells me about his video club. Kimberly Tooley is a member, although she never struck me as the type. He talks about her a lot, so I suspect he has some kind of crush going on. And of course, we know that he does. And we'd also know Joel is correct, that isn't her thing. She's only there because she is crushing on Chase. The biggest news is your sister's entry for the National Video Journalism Contest, Brendan enthuses. We've been screening the footage, and it's awesome. They're just doing the editing now. Shoshana and he falls silent. Yeah, I know who her partner is, Brendan. It's okay. Joel, you're not going to believe how different he is. It's like he split open his head when he fell off the roof and they put in a new brain. So I've heard. Bad enough I have to listen to Shosh singing Alpha Rat's praises. It never occurred to me that the entire video club would turn out to be his fans too. I passed by Chase in the hall once, and the sight of his face nearly makes me jump out of my skin. But here's the thing. He looks right through me like I'm not even there. Maybe he really does have amnesia, and he doesn't recognize me. No, I recognize him. He's the jerk who did his best to ruin my life last year. I have no choice but to run into Beta and Gamma Rats. They're in my Spanish class, 7th period. Look who came crawling home to mommy, Bear sneers at me. I'm paralyzed. It's worse than my near miss with Chase in the hall because it proves nothing's really changed. Are these my only two choices, this or Melton? Aaron grabs Bear's arms and drags him to a seat in the back row. Leave it, man. You want to get in even more trouble thanks to this loser? Those two are doing community service over the cherry bombs and the piano. Maybe that'll buy me a little bit of peace. What I dread the most is the part I used to look forward to, video club. When I was at Melton, I practically ached for it. It was the symbol of everything I was missing out on because I'd been exiled. But now all I can think of is that I'm going to come face to face with him. When I get to Miss DeLeo's room, the lights are out and all the eyes are on the smart board. I assume that this is my sister's famous video project, and the old guy on the screen is that Mr. Salway I've heard so much about. He's describing a scene from the war, and everybody's completely enthralled. Miss DeLeo notices me first and pauses the video. She comes over to the doorway to greet me. Joel, it is so good to have you back. They crowd around me, all the members. There are a couple of new faces like Kimberly, but most of them are old friends. It's a nice welcome. I can't enjoy it, though, because I know he's here hanging back and waiting for his turn. Shosh performs a formal introduction, like I don't know who the guy who turned my life into a horror show is. But of course, it isn't for me. It's for him. Chase, I don't think you remember my brother Joel. He looks 10 times more miserable than he ever made me. I don't even know what to say to you. He begins in a voice I barely recognize as this arrogant alpha rat bravado. I have no memory of any of the things I did to you, and I can't undo them, but I want to tell you that I'm really, really sorry. You know, up until this moment, I had no idea how I'd react meeting Chase Ambrose again after all these months. But now I know. I completely believe that he has amnesia and can't recall the stuff that happened between us. I believe that he's changed and that he honestly regrets what he did to me. And I know something else. It doesn't make any difference. None. Zero. Zilch. I still hate his guts. That's the end of chapter 17. Well, I had said earlier, because I had used the word hate to describe how Shoshana felt about Chase and about what Chase had done to Joel. And I amended that. I modified it because hate is such a strong word. And you know, Shoshana was just angry, as she should be. But Joel is the victim. Joel is the one who was bullied, mercilessly bullied. And I believe him. Hate is a strong word. Hate is it is the opposite of love, as you know. You know, some people say people who use the word hate you can't know what hate is until you've loved something more than yourself. That's what they say. Because hate being the opposite of that. So that's why hate is so strong. It's such a strong word. But I think Joel, I don't know if Joel can fix this. I don't know if Joel should have to fix this. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I do have an understanding and a compassion for Joel. I can understand how he feels, and I can understand why he would say what he said. To be bullied that way, mercilessly, is something that people who've gone through that, if you haven't been, then you don't know what it feels like. You can't empathize. I mean, you can try to put yourself in someone's shoes, but unless you've truly been bullied, you just don't know. So I'm glad that Joel's back. I think it's good for him to be out of Melton and back home where he belongs, and I think he's going to be okay. And I just don't know if he's ever going to be okay with Chase. I don't know. But then again, it could be that who he hates, just like who Shoshana was angry at, who Joel hates no longer exists anymore. So maybe, I don't know, there could be maybe not so much a change. Joel will continue to hate Chase, but maybe he will begin to like the new Chase. Don't know. Take care. Come back for chapter 18, and we're back to Chase. We're back here. We're back at Chase, and we're nearly done. So take care. Stay safe. Mask up when you go out. Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and mouth. I wish you all the best. Let me get my hand on this little button here.